Right, thank you very much, those people who are here, and it's very nice to meet you. My name is Mike Ralston. I'm the CEO of Blencowe Resources, and we have the 100% ownership of the Orom-Cross graphite project in Uganda. And I'm going to take you through some of the key points of this project over the next 15 minutes. For those of you who don't understand graphite, it's a key component of the lithium-ion battery, and lithium-ion batteries are predominantly used in storing all renewable energy, including powering and driving electric vehicles. So that's where the bulk of the demand going forward is expected to come. There are traditional markets for graphite, but it's definitely EVs which is driving the graphite growth going forward. We have a unique project. Orom-Cross has some 2 to 3 billion tons of graphite, estimated, because we'll never drill that out in many lifetimes. We've done a couple of big drilling programs, and we've got a 25 million ton JORC resource. And with that, we've got a 21-year mining license already in place. So we've got all our environmental approvals, we've got all our community agreements in place, we're ready to go. And we're just completing a definitive feasibility study at this stage, which will allow us to move towards production. We have some key differentiation. In graphite, there are many, many mines and projects around the world, but there are not many that have some of the key fundamentals that we have at Orom-Cross. Namely, we have some of the lowest operating costs in the market. This is absolutely essential because the market for small flake concentrate, the prices are low, and if you're not one of the lowest cost operators, you're not going to make enough margin to justify that investment decision or make a commercially viable operation. So low operating costs are absolutely critical, and we're sitting right at the bottom of that curve. At the same time, low capital costs is another key requirement. The capital costs for us are a fraction of our peers, and that's probably due to the fact that all of the key infrastructure, roads, power, water, communications, are all in place. We're very lucky that we're sitting next to all of that key infrastructure. And added to this is the third key one is high purity of end product. Graphite is sold in direct relationships one-on-one to end users, and for that reason they're all testing the product. They want to do bulk sample testing to understand that the properties of the end product that you're selling to them is exactly what they want and need in their batteries. And if you don't have highest purity of the end products, you're either not going to get any sales at all, or those sales are going to be at discounted prices. So those three are key, and I'm happy to say that at Orom-Cross we have all of them. At the same time, we have some unique relationships. We got a $5 million grant from the US government via the Development Finance Corporation in 2023, and that's helped us fund a significant portion of our feasibility study. And they will have the option, and we hope the intention to cornerstone our full funding in terms of project implementation going ahead. So we would look to the DFC to be our cornerstone debt provider as we move into project implementation going forward. We've also got Mineral Security Partnership, MSP accreditation. That is a quasi-government organization that's got one directive, and that is to break the deadlock that China holds over critical mineral supply chains. And it's very prestigious. We're very happy with that accreditation, and we think it's going to open a lot of doors going forward, including funding solutions. And finally, in terms of doing some of our bulk sample test work in China over the last 12, 24 months, we've created a relationship with one of the biggest SPG producers in the world. SPG stands for spheronised purified graphite, and that's the 99.95% product that goes into the batteries. This partner wants to come and help us build a beneficiation facility in Uganda, and that relationship is unique. We're very lucky to have it, and it's going to add a lot of value to the project. The core strategy for us is not just to produce a concentrate. That doesn't give enough commercial return to justify the investment decision. For us, it's about going one step further and getting into the downstream beneficiation, because without that, the project just doesn't stack up. As I said, the DFC, a major partner for us, very, very credible source of funding and a solution for us for our main project funding. They're looking to fund a significant portion as we go forward, and we're very happy to have them on board as a partner. MSP, the same thing as I mentioned, a lot of value for us to have them on board, and we again are looking to them to help us with both offtake and funding solutions. So what does our project profile look like in terms of production? We're going to complete the DFS, the feasibility study, by the middle of this year. And with that, assuming that it's as successful as we hope, we'll be looking to make an investment decision to go into phase 1 production. And that is a small plant, which will produce about 5,000 tons of concentrate. And that will allow us to get into production very quickly. It will take about 6 months if we raise the funds to do it. And once we've got that in production, the early part of 2026, we are a producer. And in a market where there's going to be a lack of graphite producers going forward, that's a significant step and a feather in our cap. So phase 1 will be next year. And while we're putting phase 1 into operational, we'll be raising the funds and putting the solution together for phase 2 and phase 3, which is to expand to 50,000 tons and also to put in a downstream processing facility in country to purify the graphite. Thereafter, we'll grow to phase 4 and phase 5 as market demand allows. And this is just putting it in I guess, a slightly different term. As you can see, up in the northeast of the country is where our project Orom-Cross sits. And then down in the middle of the country, right next door to a power station, is where we're looking to put our SPG facility to beneficiate the product going forward. What does this value-adding strategy mean? There's one particular problem that every single graphite project in the world is facing. And that is, typically, we all produce a concentrate. Half of that concentrate is large flake, and the other half is small flake. The small flake concentrate sells for about $500 per ton in the Asian markets today. If you're producing it for $500 per ton, it doesn't allow you a lot of margin on approximately half of your end product. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do the maths to realize that you're not going to have a successful operation if half of your end product is not making any profit. And everybody faces the same problem. Some of the projects may have a slightly higher shift of large flake, which sells for a lot more. But typically, it's a 50-50 split. And as I say, there needs to be some sort of solution as to how to upscale the value on the small flake product. So what are we going to do there? We've got two solutions. The first is micronization, and the second is downstream beneficiation. And what do these mean? Micronizing is really, simple terms, further grinding of the concentrate down to a much finer micron size. And this sells for a much larger selling price into niche markets. So we can look to make a lot more money by a very cost-effective manner in terms of low capital costs of further mills to grind it. But it's not the solution on its own because these niche markets are not big. And so we'll sell a portion of our small flake concentrate as micronized product, and we'll make some good returns on that. But we need to add in another solution. And for us, that is downstream beneficiation. Put in context, small flake concentrate sells for $500. Then the people that we're selling it to will upgrade that to an SPG, and they'll be selling that for about $2,000, $2,500 per ton. So what we intend to do with this partner is build a downstream beneficiation facility in Uganda. And with that, we'll have a 50-50 JV, so we'll participate in some of the value accretion or the value upside that we'll get from that facility. Because it'll be one of the first downstream graphite beneficiation facilities in the world outside of China. At the moment, almost all of it's done in China. It allows us the opportunity to have something that nobody else has got. And a lot of the OEMs who want to buy graphite as a purified product will be very interested, and they are very interested in this conceptually, because they're all pretty scared that China might turn off the taps. And ultimately, in retaliation to some of the tariffs that are getting thrown at them, if they turn off the taps on purified graphite, the world can't make any batteries. So having the opportunity to build a plant that provides this, that's outside of China, has huge implications for us and for the market in general. and it can provide us with a lot more commercial return. So ultimately, if I go back to the previous slide, we can see that together with the micronization, we've uplifted the value of that small flake concentrate to something that approaches commercially acceptable selling price, around about that $1,500 per ton as a weighted average. We've also become involved of late in the last couple of months with a very exciting project that's coming out of the European Union as part of their $100 billion project Horizon, which is the European Union's energy transition project. Safe Loop, the idea is to produce a Generation 3 lithium-ion battery. And what that will do is focus on safety, on recycling, and also on performance. But what it will be put into is a standardized electric vehicle bus that will be deployed by the European Union across the entire continent. And this is a 3-year project. It started 6 months ago, so it's in its early stages, but it's going very well. There's a very strong project team that's putting it together and developing it. Ultimately, by 2027, if this goes into production and starts to ramp up, we could see an enormous offtake opportunity coming from this particular project opportunity. We are a partner. We are the exclusive supplier of all natural flake graphite into Safe Loop going forward. And with that, we have the opportunity, as I say, to create a huge annuity income stream from a very credible source selling into the Western markets at much higher prices than you will achieve selling the same product into the Asian markets. So what this does for us is it creates a unique opportunity in terms of offtake. We don't have to do anything here. We're just a project partner who provides samples. The parties you can see there, American Energy Technologies, they build anodes and cathodes. Aspilsan are a big gigafactory in Turkey. And at the bottom, you've got a big rolling stock manufacturer as well. So these are big companies. It's a great project to be part of. It doesn't cost us anything, and it creates a very unique opportunity for us going forward. And also creates opportunities for us to secure funding for the project, because people like the European Investment Bank, who've obviously got a bias and a lean towards European-focused projects, are interested to talk to us with our relationship into Safe Loop. We have an eye on sustainability as well. This is very important to some of our off-takers. They're going to get audited upstream, and it's also very important to some of the funding partners that we're talking to. We're very lucky to have access to hydropower coming out of the national grid in Uganda. It's pretty cheap, and it's very cost effective. So leading from that, we've put in a number of different opportunities to get ourselves into a position where we can be one of the most sustainable projects going forward. Social community, we have a community agreement in place, which is good. And ultimately, our goal will be to deliver one of the first net zero mine sites. Now, that's a big target. It involves us talking about electric mine fleets, trucks, which will be electric to take product to market, electric drying, dry tailings, all the things that can help to turn this into a very sustainable project. But for us, we think it's quite important, and as long as it doesn't cost us commercially, we'll look to be as net zero as we can. Finally, as I see I'm running out of time, our corporate overview, we're a London-listed company. Our ticker is BRES on the London Stock Exchange, the main board. We have a market cap today of about £12 million, so it doesn't reflect anything like the value that we should be at. But we've got a lot of work going forward in terms of completing a drilling program that will double our JORC resource over the next couple of months. Following on from that, we'll be completing the Definitive Feasibility Study. These are big value inflection points. And as we then go forward beyond that into this phase 1 production, we have the opportunity to become one of the next producers of graphite in the world. From my own perspective, I see the macro side of this market as being very compelling. Whilst the Western market seems to have slowed down on EVs, the Chinese in particular, but the whole Asian market is going forward at pace. And as it develops, the demand for graphite will go and develop at the same time. So there's big demand forecast, and I think that's right. And at the same time, there's a very difficult process through this pre-qualification where you've got to go and get your product tested through to the end users, one-on-one relationships for offtakes that make it very difficult for other parties to enter. So I think we can be one of the few new graphite producers in the world going forward. We've got this unique relationship, as I said, with low operating costs, low capital costs, and I think we're going to see the market cap and the share price start to change quite significantly over the next 6 to 12 months as we develop through DFS stage and into first production. So I've managed to do that in 9 seconds to go. How about that? It's a pretty good effort. But thank you very much for paying attention. I don't think I really have much more to say. And please follow Blencowe and follow our Orom-Cross graphite project, and hopefully we'll be able to kick some big goals over the next 6 to 12 months and showcase the opportunity that we've got. Thank you.